DROID Ultra. Hey there everybody, Phil here for AndroidCentral.com. Yes, with the Motorola DROID Ultra on Verizon. So this is my first look at that glowing red eye. It's back. And a quick walkthrough and unboxing here because you people love unboxings. Fine, there's the phone. I've already turned it on. Let's pretend I haven't opened the box. That's it. It's breathing at me already. If you've been paying attention to the site for the past week or so, you'll know what that means. I'll talk about it in a second. So in the box, you've got an Ingress invite. If you've never played Ingress, it's built into the phone. It's on there already. Here it is, the DROID Ultra. You've got a bunch of books and the charger and micro USB cable. That's it in the box. Nothing more exciting than that. That is your DROID Ultra unboxing. Thank you very much. We're out of here. See you next time. No, we'll talk about the phone for a minute. So here it is, DROID Ultra. Look, it's the new line of droids. It's a little plasticky. It is kind of the big brother to the Moto X. Here's the Moto X, and this is certainly the more hyped device, I think. DROID Ultra, the Droid line, has physical, buttons, capacitive buttons down there on the bottom. Moto X does not, right? We'll zoom in a little better so you can see better. But you will notice the displays, right? Definitely different sizes. 4.7 inches on the right, 5 inches even on the left. DROID Ultra is decidedly plastic. If you didn't know better, you might say Samsung made it. It's glossy, it's slick, it's a fingerprint magnet. Moto X is soft touch. If you can hear the sound of my voice, you can tell which one I like better, right? Moto X has a dimple where the Motorola logo is. Cool. 10 megapixel cameras on both. I mean, they're very much cousins, right? They look and feel a lot different. Size isn't totally different. There are your volume buttons and your power button in the same place, although they're a little different. 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks up top, micro USB in the bottom. So all kind of standard fare, right? But definitely two different feeling phones here. So let's kind of focus on DROID Ultra though, because we've talked a lot about the Moto X. We'll talk about it more here in a second. So again, 5-inch display, Super AMOLED, 720p, and you can actually kind of see the difference here compared to the Moto X, just the pixels per inch. It's less dense. Relatively stock Android 4.2, which is good. I think we're all in agreement that that's about better to have now, right? App drawer, again, stock Android. You've got some preloaded apps, you've got NFL, you see there's Ingress, and a whole bunch of Verizon stuff, which is not surprising in the slightest, I think. Widgets, your standard widget fare. You do have a little bit extra. There's the weird Motorola clocks if you're into those. Oh wait, I've already got those added. Let's see what happens if you try to add it again. Oop, can't put it on that screen. It's like the first time I've ever done a widget. Try it on that one. And nope, can only put it on there once. That's fine. But this is a really cool clock. I know a lot of people like it, so you can expand them out like that. So cool, neat, okay. But yeah, it's stock Android, right? We've seen this before, and again, a lot like the Moto X. In fact, let's bring the Moto X back here in a minute. Wireless display, you've got your Verizon logo there. And here's the settings menu again. We're used to seeing it, right? Active notifications and touchless control. Again, same as on the Moto X. And in fact, we'll just flip it on the Moto X settings and you see there it is, right? You've got Droid Zap, which is their weird way of sharing stuff. I'll bounce into that here now, I guess. That's their way of sharing pictures and stuff with people nearby. Cool, I guess. All right, so here's the really cool trick. I promised we'd bring the Moto X back out, and there it is. And you've seen this before, right? I can say, okay, Google now, and both phones will wake up. Yes, this has the same touchless control, just as quick on both devices. These are, for all intents and purposes, under the hood, the same thing with the Motorola X8 processing cores and contextual computation engines and stuff. And it works really well, so you can trigger them both at the same time because they're that fast, even after having used it for a while. Dive back into the About phone just so you can see exactly what we're talking about. Android 4.2.2. You'd expect to have an update at some point to 4.3. I would be extremely surprised if it never got that. Bring it up against a couple other phones. Here's the Samsung Galaxy S4. If I had to put it up against one other phone and say these two are cousins, this would be it. Very plasticky, same sort of feel, very fingerprint magnets. It is what it is. Here's the HTC One, which we've been a big fan of for a while, and you can really see the design differences, even though they're almost the same size. The HTC One's a little bit slimmer. Those speakers really make it look different, I guess. But two really good phones here, I think. So it'll be a tough choice for a lot of people. I get that. It's not going to be easy. So they're about the same thickness, pretty close, you know, and it's going to be tough, guys. Let's face it, right? So there you go, a quick look at the new Motorola Droid Ultra on Verizon. That's it. See you later.
I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and it's part 2 of the full video review of the Motorola Droid Ultra on Verizon Wireless. Is this thing a contender against the Moto X, the LG G2, and the HTC One? We'll find out in part 2. It's part 2 of the Motorola Droid Ultra full video review, and to start off part 2, I did something that I promised I wouldn't do in part 1, but I wanted to keep the suspense high here, so I thought this would be starting on a good note. You can see the volume rocker here. It doubles up as a nano SIM card tray. It goes right here, and then your SIM card goes in, and your volume rocker goes in as well. I think that's pretty cool, and that's something that other manufacturers, other OEMs have not done to date. But in part 2, we're kicking off talking about Android 4.2. We extensively talked about the software and the hardware in part 1. We're going to continue in part 2 as you would expect, but with more of an emphasis on software. Before I get too far into this, thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile for giving devices like the Droid Ultra for use in our One Paw Band-Aid giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. So whether it's the Droid Ultra, the Mini, the Max, or perhaps even the Moto X, you'll walk out with a device that not only works best for you, but you'll have everything set up at Best Buy Mobile. So we'll jump right in here back into Android 4.2.2, and you can see how it looks on the Moto Droid Ultra here, Motorola Droid Ultra. I was confusing Moto X and Motorola's full name. You can see here really fast as well, despite having a dual-core processor, and I think that worries a lot of particularly spec heads who love those quad-core processors, love that Exynos CPU, love that, perhaps octa-core processor, or love the Snapdragon 600, the Snapdragon 800. This device is very fast all around. It has 2 gigabytes of RAM, and with Motorola's X8 architecture, I haven't seen any slowdowns on this device whatsoever. I mean, very zippy all around, no lag whatsoever, and I'm just kind of running quickly through some things here so you can see what it looks like. Very quick, very clean. Again, haven't had any issues whatsoever. 5 home screens on this device, as you would expect from Android 4.2.2, and I can jump right in here and take a look again at what comes out of the box. You get the usual Verizon applications like I talked about in the unboxing, get Google Plus integration, and then of course some things that I've installed as well. Verizon applications include Visual Voicemail, VZ Navigator, VZ Security, Verizon Tones, and more. So yeah, you do get some Verizon bloatware out of the box, but you know what? It just seems to be the case with most of the carriers these days, at least with a lot of their devices. So Android 4.2, like I talked about in part 1, some really great things out of the box, like OK Google Now, for example, where I can go in here, and this is a Moto X feature. Tell me, actually I probably should start over again. OK Google Now, tell me the weather in Dallas.
It's 98 degrees and partly cloudy in Dallas.
So a relatively cool week in Dallas, 97, 99, 99 in comparison to what it has been. Okay, Google Now. Text message 555-1234. Message, how are you? And I can't remember the actual code word. I always struggle with this one in all of my videos, the code word to get the message in there. But I can edit it from here and then move forward if I'm not driving and I'm stopped somewhere and focusing on my messages. So overall, nice functionality with that, okay, and I'm not going to say it because it'll activate it again, but it starts with a G and ends with an L, so nice little feature to have on the device. Let's take a look here at the browser, and I talked about this in part 1, and I'll continue into part 2. I think 5 inches is a great display spot for a lot of people because it's not too incredibly big, so you're not dealing with 5.5 inches or 6.44 inches, for example, and all of that stuff. But you know what, 5 inches is perfect for content consumption like browsing the web as we're doing here, browsing on YouTube, things like that. I think it's a great sweet spot, but you've still got some decent travel on this device, so I can still get my fingers across the display. And it has a great feel in the hand too. I talked about this in part 1. Out of all the devices I've worked with in 2013, definitely one of my favorites just from a feel in the hand perspective. I make a lot of phone calls. That's still something, I know it sounds kind of antiquated, but that's still something that's very important to me in 2013, and this thing feels great in the hand. That said, you got a ton of gloss here on the back, and it does attract fingerprints like nobody's business, so keep that in mind. PhoneDog.com here, as you would expect, and out of the box you got the Google keyboard and have Moto Chinese input as well, but you got stock Android keyboard here, nothing too surprising on the Droid Ultra, CNN.com just for example. But again, you can see how quick this device is despite only having a dual-core processor with Motorola's X8 architecture. Don't let the specs steer you the wrong way. I think, as one of my colleagues said, my friend Chris Ziegler over at The Verge said, you know, we really are living in a post-spec world, and that's something you need to keep in mind. Buy it for the overall package, not just for the quad-core processor or the octa-core processor or the 2 gigabytes of RAM or the 18 million gigabytes of RAM. Buy it because it works best for you. I think there are a lot of great things that Motorola brings to the table in this device. This is the $199 device. Mini's $99, Max is $299.99. This thing packs a 2,130 milliamp hour battery, and overall I've been pretty impressed with the battery life. I still wish, for the love of all things holy, that stock Android had a physical percentage indicator. So instead of looking at that arbitrary thing up there where I can't tell what the battery's like, I would say like 48% or 55%. You can download things like Battery Widget Reborn, and of course you have the widget out of the box here on the Droid devices, which gives you the circular thing here. Don't care for it. They need a physical battery percentage indicator. I just wish they would give me that. Rant over, I think. But you get my idea. 2,130 milliamp hour battery here. Overall, I've been pretty pleased with the battery. Standby time is pretty decent. I've had a nice combination of standby time and call time as well. I get about 12 to 14 hours. I get far less than what Motorola claimed you would get with the Droid Ultra, but I get about, in my testing, 12 to 15, 14 to 15 hours with moderate to low heavy use. And again, Verizon's 4G LTE continues to work well. They promise download speeds of anywhere from 5 to 12 megabits per second and upload speeds from 2 to 5 megabits per second. Pretty zippy all around, despite the fact that it's pretty saturated in comparison to the other LTE networks, AT&T's LTE network, Sprint's LTE network, and T-Mobile's infancy, or a network that's in its infancy. So really impressive speeds all around there. Let's take a look at Quadrant Standard here and load it up also. And have I not downloaded? Let's go in here and download this real time. I thought I downloaded it, but maybe I uninstalled it in working with the device. Go ahead and accept this. We'll download, install it, and we'll take a look at Quadrant Standard because, again, take it with a grain of salt, but it's always good to compare these to other devices on the market. So we'll do a quick Quadrant Standard test, and then we'll be done with it. Quadrant Standard, be done with the speed test, I should say. We'll continue on into the 10 megapixel camera, which, spoiler alert, is not Motorola's strong suit. So if you're looking for a camera, you may want to look elsewhere. But like I said, a lot of great things about this device. Motorola has always done one thing incredibly well. They've always done one thing incredibly, or I shouldn't say incredibly, but kind of poorly, and that's always been their imaging. So from a camera perspective, Motorola has never really been the go-to. One thing they do exceptionally well is call quality, and there's no disappointment on the Droid Ultra. The call quality is fantastic on this device. The earpiece is nice and loud. The reception's fantastic. I've had no issues whatsoever even testing this in Verizon dead spots in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've been incredibly impressed with this phone all around, and if you're somebody like me, and I can't remember if I talked about this in part 2 or part 1, I'm very much an old school guy. I'm on the phone a lot for work, on conference calls. Like the fact that this thing is great from a call quality standpoint. It matches the Moto X, it matches all the other Motorola devices I've worked with in recent memory. 9,188 on Quadrant Standard. So again, in comparison to the 12,000 or so you see on the HTC One and the Galaxy S4, it falls a little bit behind. But again, as you can see here, very impressive speed all around on this device. No, I don't want to open Amazon. I do want to open widgets, so just so you can kind of see. I'll browse through here quickly so you can take a look at the widgets that come on this device out of the box. Pretty much the stock Android stuff here. I do like the digital clock quite a bit. 10:08 a.m. That is not the case, but you know what? We'll pretend like it is. Like the digital clock, and then of course I have to use this because I have to have the physical battery percentage indicator, and this is the only option out of the box that the Droid Ultra has. If you're looking for one through Google Play, highly recommend Battery Widget Reborn. We'll finish out by taking a look at the camera. 10 megapixel camera with 1080p HD recording, and the camera's pretty run-of-the-mill. I talked about this during my 30-day challenge with the Moto X, and it continues over here. You got a pretty ho-hum appearance here. I can swipe to the right to access the gallery. I can swipe to the left to access my settings. It's very basic, as you can see here. Pardon all the light. You can see HDR, flash. Got the ability here to tap to focus. I've got this right here, slow motion video, panorama, location. I've got shutter tone on, and then I've got the shake or quick capture, which is turned on. So when I have the device off, I can do like that twice, and it should, there it is, activate the camera as a shortcut. So front-facing camera, video camcorder, nothing really surprising here. We'll bring over the Ativ S Neo, which was unboxed this morning just for comparison purposes. Overall, it's a clean picture, don't get me wrong. 10 megapixels, not bad. The colors look pretty rich here, but from an editing perspective, you don't get a whole lot. You do get a couple of editing options after the fact. So for example, if I'm in the gallery here, you can see this option down here at the bottom. Click on it. I should move over into landscape so you can get a better feel of it here. and I can go in here and do kind of Instagram style stuff like vintage, black and white, bleach. I can come down here and crop it if I want to. You know, let's just say apply the crop. I can mirror it. I can apply the mirror if I want to. I can add a border around it. So I can do some customizations after the picture's taken, but as for actual specs, or actual stuff when the picture's being taken rather, you're kind of limited in what you can do until you actually take the photo. I also don't care for the fact there's no physical camera button on this device. And when you do this, I'll show you actually. Go in here and even, you know what, I'm even gonna tap to focus on. Actually, I'm gonna leave it off. And you can see right here, when I click it, it takes the picture. Just like that. And I can tap it to focus, but you know what, again, even if I wanna focus it, there are times where I'll focus in a couple of different spots before I take a picture. Not an option with this device. Overall, really like the Droid Ultra in a lot of different ways. A couple of different great things about this unit. One, price point's not too bad, it's $199. Two, this thing feels incredible in the hand. And three, from a display size perspective, this is my favorite, right up there with the Galaxy S4 and Verizon's lineup. If you're looking for a device that's not too big, look at this, look at the Galaxy S4, love the screen size on this. That said, a couple of cons with this device, it doesn't have the build quality of the HTC One, so just comparing all these high-end apples to apples. No build quality in comparison to HTC One, it's a little bit glossy on the back. It is pretty ho-hum and plain Jane in comparison, at least at first glance, to TouchWiz, to Sense, and then a couple of other things as well. The max version is $299. Overall, I think this thing is great from a call quality standpoint. I think this thing is great from an ergonomic standpoint. I think this thing needs a little bit of work in the camera department, and then you may like Sense, you may like TouchWiz more, and your friends may have TouchWiz, for example, or Sense, so you're used to HTC Zoe or the highlight reels or perhaps S-Beam or things like that, and you may want to go with one of those because the ecosystems are here with Samsung, with HTC, with Apple. And you know what, in the case of friends or family, it may make more sense to get in that ecosystem. But overall, this is a great effort by the new Motorola, which is now owned by Google. Look forward to seeing this and what else they have to offer in the coming months. Keep it locked on the site for continuing coverage. I'm on Twitter at phonedog_Aaron. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/HiAaronBaker, and on Google Plus as well, gplus.to/phonedog. Thanks for watching. More to come on the Droid Ultra on phonedog.com. I'll see you next time. I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and it's part 2 of an epic dogfight smackdown between the Verizon Wireless HTC One and the Motorola Droid Ultra, one of 3 new Droid devices on Verizon. This sucker's been a long time coming. This represents the newest member of the Droid family. Which one's the best? Which one's the must-have? It's part 2, and we're going to find that out together. Part 2 of a dogfight battle with the HTC One and the Motorola Droid Ultra, 2 very popular Android devices on Verizon. The HTC One, been out for some time, but finally, after months of waiting, available on the nation's largest wireless carrier. The Droid Ultra is one of the trio of Droid devices that are brand new. The Droid Ultra is the middle device, and it's available for $199, pitting it directly against the $199 price point of the HTC One. It's part 2 of a dogfight battle. But before we get too far into the dogfight battle, I want to give special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile, because thanks to them, we give you free phones at PhoneDog.com. Phones like the HTC One. We actually just gave away one this week. And then, of course, the Motorola Droid Ultra, thanks to them. Go play the game on the site, but when you walk into Best Buy Mobile, they'll make sure you're set up and ready to go and walking out working, be it your contacts, your camera, your call settings, Facebook, American, Gmail. They'll make sure everything's set up, downloaded, rocking and rolling, so when you walk out the door, you're good to go. Let's jump right into part 2 here, and we'll talk more about the software just to start out. So you can see these are running very different versions of Android. Actually, they're running the same version of Android, but very different experiences as a whole. You've got Sense 5 running over here, HTC's latest iteration of their Sense user interface, and you've got a pretty stock build of Android 4.2 over on the Motorola Droid Ultra. Motorola's pared it back and pared it back and pared it back over the years, and with the acquisition of Google, or I should say the Google acquisition of Motorola, I said that backwards. Google acquisition of Motorola, you see even more of a pared back experience, almost to the point of being stock over on this device. Over here, Sense 5, even people that haven't liked Sense in previous years are ranting and raving about Sense 5. A lot of people like it. It continues to be incredibly fast, this device. It works well with it. It's integrated well. And you can see that even though this is running a skin, if you will, or a custom user interface, this phone continues to be fast all around. So you can see here, Sense 5, let's take a look. between Sense 5 and stock Android to see some of the differences. And I talked about some in part 1, but I just want to go through and briefly show you some of the overall look and feel differences between the two. So you can see here you've got the settings, and you've got quick settings here, and the notification bar. You can see how those look different. HTC's kind of put their own spin on this, as you can tell. And then on the Droid Ultra side, very much stock Android with the Google Plus profile right here. And let's go into settings and take a look at how those differ. So you can see pretty organized, or organized by kind of similar stuff here: personal, device, accounts, as you can see, and then system down here at the bottom. Not too different there, but where you do differ between these two devices, you'll notice that if you like this, and people either love it or hate it, you've got the ability to add widgets from the home screen on Android 4.2. I don't care for that. I think it's kind of pointless. I would prefer to keep it as clean and uncluttered as possible, but some people do like that. So we'll go into customize. Actually, I take that back. We'll go back. Forgive me here, settings. We'll go down into personalization. We'll go into lock screen style and change the lock screen from wallpaper to widget. And I can come in here to settings, and I can see the widgets that I can select. Now, obviously this will increase as you download applications. For example, CNN wasn't there out of the box. I downloaded CNN and the widget's now available. But HTC takes a little bit more of a conservative approach with their widgets versus Android, which kind of allows you to put whatever you want. I'll show you here just for example into it. So you got a couple of different options here on stock Android, whereas over here, kind of restricted to Gmail, a couple of different things. So I'll put in a Gmail widget just so you can see the difference here. We'll do it on the Droid Ultra as well. I don't know why it's taking so long to sync, but you can see here the widget, and we'll turn it off and back on. And then you can see right over there, there is my Gmail. And let's see if I can get this configured again. Let's try this one more time. I don't know why it's taking so long. This email account's been synced for some time, but it sits right there on the lock screen, as you can see, where it would be right there along with your shortcuts down here at the bottom, and you just swipe up the lock to unlock. Let's do a quick quadrant standard test and take a look at the speeds on both of these devices. Quadrant standard. And again, take this with a grain of salt. It's always indicative, or not always indicative rather, of day-to-day performance on these two devices. But I will say both of these devices are incredibly fast. Now, a lot of people have looked at the Droid Ultra specs and they've said something like, oh, dual-core processor, this thing's got to be incredibly slow. Well, with Motorola's X8 architecture, this thing continues to be fast, so even if the quadrant standard score comes in underneath the HTC One, I would highly recommend both of these for day-to-day use. I would personally carry both of these for day-to-day use if I needed a spare Verizon phone. They're both incredibly fast, and even having a quad-core processor, I don't see a real speed difference in day-to-day tasks on either one of these devices. Now, kind of going back to part 1 and talking about some of the pros and cons here, smaller display here, but 1080p, 4.7, 1080p HD display, pixels per inch are great here, 5-inch display, and you just saw it there for a second when the animation was running on the same screen. Bigger display here, AMOLED, 720p. So lower pixels, go ahead and hit yes on both of these. 8,816 versus 12,306 over on the HTC One. So in quadrant standard, HTC One wins. But back to what I was talking about with the display. Bigger display over here, so for content consumption, YouTube, you're watching other videos, for example, or streaming something, you're going to have a better experience display size-wise over on the Droid Ultra. Overall quality and color saturation, you're probably going to have a better experience on the HTC One. It is a beautiful display. For me personally, 5 inches is a sweet spot. So I actually like the display on the Galaxy S4 because of the 1080p 5-inch HD display. But love this overall look and feel of this device. Sense 5 is fantastic, and even if the display is a little bit on the small side, comparatively speaking, you get a really nice rich color experience. We'll take a look at speed test here as well. Both of these running Verizon 4G LTE. Just a quick overview, Verizon promises download speeds of 5 to 12 megabits per second and upload speeds of 2 to 5 megabits per second. I've seen it much faster in the Dallas metro area. I've seen it slower in some cases, but it usually falls right within that 5 to 12 megabit count, as you can see right here. One is running at about 5.1, Droid Ultra running right now at about 8.4. So much faster, actually pretty significantly faster than the HTC One. So 8.65 megabits per second over here, 5.54 megabits per second over on the HTC One. Now just one other thing I wanted to point out about the display. AMOLED display over here, a standard display over here, 1080p HD display over here. Colors on this device are very much AMOLED-y, if you will. If you worked with an AMOLED device display in any time in the past, you know how the colors differ from a standard LCD or different display technologies. Like for example, I'm looking at it right now in the speed test, and the camera may not show you this accurately, but this is like absurdly green, and this is absurdly aqua, whereas over here the colors are a little bit more, not washed out, but maybe more realistic. Over here it's like green or turquoise staring at you in the face. So colors are very vibrant over here, and they look good, but in a lot of cases they're a little bit to the point where it's like holy color saturation Batman, whereas over here you've got a little bit more of a realistic picture of the images, or of the color quality. Let's take a look at the cameras here. 4 ultra pixel camera, which is essentially 4 megapixels over here, 10 megapixel camera over here. Most people look at that and say, 4 megapixels, how in the world does that take a decent image? Well, HTC's done an incredible job here getting this camera up to par. I love the camera on the HTC One. I think it's fantastic. That's an area that needs improvement on the Droid Ultra. It's very similar to the camera on the Moto X, which is 10 megapixels as well. And I see some issues with the Moto X on a pretty regular basis. But let's pull over something here from my desk to take a picture. I'll just show you kind of a sample. You know what, we'll use a SIM card. So I want to focus in on the text on the SIM card. So I can focus in here, I can tap, I can see the numbers, and I can snap my images here. And then from there I can change the colors on the actual display. As you can see, change it to grayscale, change the color effects right here. Now over here I don't have a physical camera button, and then it zooms in on its own. So when I click the display, it takes the picture, as you can see right there. And I can go from the live display or live camera, and I can edit the pictures after they've been taken. So for example, here I can go in and edit the picture and select, for example, black and white if I want to. I can crop it around. So you do have some editing options on the Droid Ultra, but they're all after the fact. Over here, I can come in before the picture's taken and change, for example, to negative if I wanted to. Picture's still running, hasn't been taken yet. Camera's still running, I should say, hasn't been taken yet. And I can snap it. Now, there are cool opportunities here on the HTC One. One of my personal favorites. That's hard to say. Say 1 and 1 back to back. But anyway, one of my personal favorites is HTC Zoe, which takes a quick 3-second video snippet. Now, you're asking yourself, if you don't know what Zoe and what the highlight reel does, you're like, why would I take a 3-second video? That seems pretty useless. Well, let's say you're at a wedding. Let's say you're at a wedding or a party or something of that nature. You take a combination all throughout the day or all throughout the night of Zoe's, and you can see it taking the Zoe right there, and it'll capture the sound as well. You take a combination of pictures, a combination of Zoe's throughout the day, and then you get an event in your gallery. So we'll snap a bunch of pictures here. We'll just move it around the display. I'll take a couple of keyboard pictures, take a couple pictures of my desk, move around here, take a picture of my Diet Snapple, and then I'll go in here to gallery, for example, and you can see, boom, there's my gallery. I'll come in here and say Dallas, Texas from August 29th, which is today. So you're going to see the Zoe's moving here, and I can come up here to what's called a highlight reel, and you're going to see the highlight reel running. And this is something that's on the device side. You have to do nothing to edit this, and you can change the editing around if you want to, from, let's say, Vega to Eiffel or Avalon if you want to. And it'll change the editing slightly. And from here you can share this little snippet, which is really cool for social media, really cool to send to your family, etc. Like this feature a lot, and again, this is nothing you have to do on your end. It comes out of the box on the HTC One. Another thing I want to talk about at the $199 price point, storage. No micro SD card slot in either one of these devices. You have 32 gigabytes over on the HTC One. And then over here, we'll jump down so you can see it for yourself. Go into settings, and we'll go down to storage. You only have 16 gigabytes of storage on the Droid Ultra with no opportunities to expand that out. So we'll go down here to storage as well. 32 gigabytes on the HTC One, roughly 8-ish megabytes taken. Over here, you've only got 9 gigabytes available for whatever you want, mostly once you download it out of the box. Granted, I've downloaded some applications, so that number is not fresh out of the box, but about 9.75 gigabytes over here. You got 24 gigabytes over here available. So compare that, again, at the same price point, and I think you may have a decision to make. Both of these devices are awesome all around. There's a lot to offer here, and again, like anything else in the mobile space, it's going to depend on what's most important to you. I'll tell you the pros and cons of both of these devices. Pros here, beautiful metal build quality. This phone is beautiful to hold in the hand. I love the way it feels. The curved back makes it really easy to hold on long phone calls. Boom sound, which we weren't even able to cover due to time constraints, is great on this device. And every time I look at it, I think to myself, why doesn't everybody else put their speakers on the front so when I'm watching a video, the sound comes out at me versus behind the device? Great stuff there, incredibly fast here, really works well with Sense 5. Zoe's awesome. The downside, a little bit of a smaller display, and really, honestly, that's the only thing I can think of, comparatively speaking, between these two devices. You have the Droid Ultra over here, love the size of the display. Downside, camera's not as good. You only got 16 gigabytes of internal storage with no opportunity for expansion. That said, I think you know who the winner of the dogfight is. The winner of the dogfight is the HTC One. I like both of these devices. Like I said in the beginning, I would carry both. The HTC One wins in this dogfight battle. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for more. I'm on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron, and I'm on Facebook at Facebook.com/HiAaronBaker. Let me know which one you think should win. If you have one, you love it. You have one, you hate it, you wish you'd gotten the other one or waited. Maybe you have the Galaxy S4 and you want the HTC One. Whatever the case is, reach out to me on social media and let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked here for more dogfights in the coming days. And as always, I'll see you next time. If you're a Verizon customer and you're also an Android fan, you're probably more torn than ever about which Android phone to go with for your next 2-year upgrade. I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and today it's a dogfight battle between the HTC One on Verizon and the Motorola DROID Ultra. This sucker's been a long time coming, but it's finally available on Verizon, and the DROID Ultra represents one of a trio of new DROID devices. Which one's the best? Let's put them in a dogfight and find out. It's a dogfight battle between the HTC One and the Motorola DROID Ultra, two phones that are now, at least for this case, on Verizon Wireless, officially for $199.99. The HTC One is available now, the DROID Ultra is available right now, and they both bring Android, albeit in a different package to an extent, to the masses on Verizon Wireless. This is a dogfight battle. Before we get too far into that, my stomach's growling. I don't know why, but I'm going to give special thanks to my partners at Best Buy Mobile for giving us devices like the HTC One, like the DROID Ultra, for use in our One-Pawed Bandit giveaway game, which is where we give you free phones on the site at instantwin.phonedog.com. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll get your email, your web, your contacts, all that stuff set up, so when you walk out the door, be it with the One or with the DROID Ultra, you'll walk out ready to go thanks to Best Buy Mobile. So quick spec rundown here. Obviously two very different user experiences and two different designs for that. And we'll take a look here at the DROID Ultra and see what it has in comparison to the HTC One. The HTC One is packing a 1.7 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 600 CPU. It's got a 4.7-inch 1080p HD display, a 4 ultra-pixel camera on the back, 2,300 milliamp hour battery that is non-removable, 32 gigabytes of internal storage without a micro SD card slot, packing Android 4.2.2 out of the box on Verizon Wireless. So a nice little software upgrade right out of the gate on the nation's largest wireless carrier, and then it has 4G LTE capabilities on the carrier as well. DROID Ultra is a little bit different. It's appealing to a little bit of a different mass. It's packing that DROID branding, so you've got kind of that robot thought process, if you will, with the Motorola DROID Ultra. But specs-wise, it's very similar to the Moto X in a lot of aspects. It's got right here, processor-wise, 1.7 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU with Motorola's X8 architecture. It is fast all around, so even though it's a dual-core CPU, take that with a grain of salt because it is very fast in comparison to the HTC One, and we'll talk more about speeds in a future video, probably in part 2 of this dogfight battle. It's got a 5-inch display, so a little bit bigger on the display size, but then it only has an AMOLED display, 720p HD display here. So 720p by 1280 pixels, 1080 by 1920 over here. So more pixels and a smaller display make for a better overall picture over here. But if you like that 5-inch display on the Galaxy S4, but maybe you're not a Samsung fan or you just don't like the way it looks, this could be a great option for you. It also has a 10 megapixel camera on the back with 1080p HD recording. On the back, battery-wise, non-removable battery here, 2,130 milliamp hour battery. You can get the bigger version by going with the DROID Max and getting that all day long, or even 2 days in some cases, battery life from the DROID Max. Very similar in terms of design, just with a bigger battery. 4G LTE capabilities as well, and Android 4.2.2 here on the DROID Ultra. So obviously very different user experiences. This has HTC Sense version 5. This has a pretty pared down version of Motorola's UI. In fact, I would go as far to say this is basically stock Android with Motorola customizations, where this is very much HTC Sense 5 with some Android customization. So you get kind of a different experience. It depends on what's most important to you. This brings some great software stuff to the table, as does this actually. We'll dive in just a second and take a look at that. First, the hardware. On the left side, you've got your micro SIM card slot in the bottom, like the other versions we've worked with. Micro USB charging port here off center to the right. Volume rocker over on the right side. Top, 3.5mm headphone jack, and power button, which doubles as an IR blaster for the TV capabilities, which we'll talk about later. I feel like I'm saying we'll talk about a lot of stuff later, but there's a lot to cover, my friends, so keep it on the video. Volume rocker over here, which actually doubles as a nano SIM card slot. The volume rocker slides out, and I'm not going to do it to risk losing connectivity, but it does pull out to include a nano SIM card. Power button here, nothing on the right side. Micro USB charging port down here at the bottom, which is kind of hard to see because this phone's very glossy. And then up top, 3.5mm headphone jack. So distinctly different appearance here. This one's a little bit bigger in the hand, but I love the feel of this phone in the hand. It's very thin, it's very light. You got your capacitive buttons down here, back, home, and recent applications, but feels great in the hand. Like these buttons a lot. They've got kind of a rugged feel to them. Both the power button and the volume rocker, very easy to press. And this is something, an issue that I have with the HTC One. Every unit I've worked with, which is 6 by my count with this one, the power button after about a month of use starts to recess into the device. It's a known HTC problem. I see it on a lot of HTC phones, the Droid DNA, I've seen it on the Butterfly S. The power button kind of recesses down, making it hard to press, and if you can look up here at the top, you can see that the way the phone is shaped downward, it makes it even harder to reach your finger over and down. It doesn't seem like a lot from the video, but after you've worked with this for a month or two, you'll notice the power button gets increasingly harder and harder to press. Never to the point where it doesn't power on, but in comparison to something like this, the power button is far easier to press, and it's right there where the thumb is naturally, which makes it really nice. So a little bit different in terms of the overall look and feel here. You've got the HTC logo, the home button, and the back button. Home button doubles up for a couple of things here. Press and hold to access Google Now. I can double tap quickly to access my recent applications. There we go. Recent applications, which again, very much an HTC Sense 5 flavor here. So Sense 5 versus stock Android. Let's see what's different between these two. You can see very much stock Android 4.2 here with the ability to add widgets from the home screen, and then going in here, you'll see some very minor Motorola customizations. Out of the box, you get the typical Verizon stuff on both of these devices. You get the Amazon suite, Amazon Kindle, Amazon MP3. You get VCast accessories. You get mobile hotspot, My Verizon Mobile, Verizon Tones video calling, VZ Navigator, VZ Security, visual voicemail as well. And you get most of that stuff over here as well, though you'll notice, as I just tried to do and failed at doing, this is stock Android, or pretty close version, so you swipe side to side, whereas here, you swipe up and down. So HTC is all about simplifying the user experience. They were really big on that when the HTC One came out. They said, listen, based on our research, people don't use more than 3 home screens, so we want to make those 3 home screens as useful as possible, and very similarly with the overall app drawer as well. You can customize this and stick stuff in folders if you want to. And I'll go back here and go to custom so you can see. Stick stuff in folders if you want to. You can make this, I did not mean to do that again. Go here and we'll go to grid size, and I can make the grid size smaller. So you can really make this your own in terms of customization, and this is great out of the box for those people that are either new to smartphones or perhaps people that just aren't as comfortable using smartphones as perhaps you or myself are. And you can see over here as well, get the stock look and feel, apps and widgets, and then over here to get your widgets, press and hold the home screen. Now you can have a maximum of 5 home screens over here in the HTC One, including the one that houses HTC Blink Feed, which is a revolutionary new thing. I actually like Blink Feed quite a bit. It grew on me from the initial announcement to launch, and it continues to grow on me because you can customize your Blink Feed with whatever you want. So Blink Feed is something you can't remove. It's there out of the box, and even though you can change the home screen like I have, for example, to make it look more like a typical Android device, that Blink Feed home screen is always going to be there, regardless of whether you want it or not. Now, you can customize this. You can never activate it if you want to, but I prefer to customize it and kind of make it my own. And you can add in stuff like Facebook, and actually in 4.2, you can add in Instagram as well, along with LinkedIn, and of course your apps. So I can see my calendar, my gallery, my TV stuff. I can add in Facebook if I want to, or Instagram. Then I can come over here and add popular news stuff. ESPN, for example, MTV, autoblog.com, Bang Showbiz if I want to, and come back out here and it'll curate some stories for me. And this is great for those times where you're on the road, you only have 20 seconds to check your phone, you just want to scroll through the latest news, latest updates on your Facebook or your Twitter. That's what Blink Feed is for. Now, this Motorola device, the Droid Ultra, is not without some little software goodies, some little value adds, if you will. And Motorola Assist is one of those. I really enjoy this application. And Assist, basically, exactly how it sounds, it assists you with your life. Driving, meeting, and sleeping, 3 things we do in the adult life on a regular basis. Driving, for example, you can do this and activate it where whenever it detects, the accelerometer detects you're going, it'll stop, and you can it'll talk to you when you get a text message. We can click resume music play, for example, and I'll go in here just to customize it even more. It'll read my text messages, it'll tell me who's calling, and I can send a quick reply. So once that accelerometer realizes the car is in motion, driving mode will kick into play, and of course if you don't want that, you can turn it off as well. Meeting down here, this one's pretty useful because I'm in a lot of meetings, so I find this one to be particularly useful. And this is a carryover from the Moto X as well. Or maybe this is maybe the Droid Ultra carries it over to the Moto X. I don't want to give responsibility to one or the other because these devices came out at about the same time. But meeting, for example, here, whenever it detects that you have a meeting on your calendar, for example, I have a conference call at 2 o'clock this afternoon. When it detects that I have the call, I'm in a meeting, it'll silence the device and keep it quiet. While I'm busy, I can silence it or allow it vibrate, and then I can make exceptions, much like Do Not Disturb on the iPhone, for example. When a favorite calls, fiance, family, whatever, someone calls twice within 5 minutes as well, the boss, because he's trying to reach me for a project, they'll be able to reach me as well. And very similar down here with sleeping as well. You can select a time and it'll put the phone on silent, and you can make the same exceptions for favorites or, as you can see here, for when somebody calls twice. Very useful application. Another one I use all the time on the Moto X, and you can use this on the Droid Ultra as well. Motorola's Moto Connect, which is an application, or I should say it's a extension to the Chrome browser, where you can go in there and you can text message and see your missed calls. I'm the king of putting my phone down like that when I'm at work and walking out into the conference room or whatever the case may be. I'm in a meeting or something, phone's face down and it's on silent because I shoot videos throughout the day, and I miss a call or I miss a text message, well, it'll pop up on the computer screen, and I can not only see it, but I can actually respond to text messages from my computer as well, and that's all able to be activated through the settings. Other things I like include active notifications and touchless control. I can come in here and say, OK, Google Now, and I can access Google Now just by saying, OK, Google Now, which is nice. Again, carry over to an extent from the Moto X, and you've got that nice 5-inch display to get those questions on the display. So let's take a look here. Active notifications as well. Active display, I can manage the notification types. I find this one to be pretty useful. When the device is off, for example, we'll give it a couple of seconds here, and I move it, it should tell me the time and allow me to unlock the device, which we'll play around with it for a little bit. Let's see, come on. Never works when I want it to on camera. We'll wait for it for just a second. Whenever you get a text message, it only lights up the number of pixels on the display that it needs to display that actual notification. So it saves battery life, which is a nice little feature. There it is right there. Active notifications, I can either unlock by swiping down, or if I had a message, it would show up here in the top. Nice little feature, and then a little bit different from the standard lock screen. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com. In part 2 of the dogfight, we'll talk speed tests, camera settings, and the benefits that both of these devices bring in terms of editing pictures and things like HTC Zoe and the highlight reel. Stay tuned for part 2. I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and from the new Droid devices to the HTC One, you got some choice this back-to-school season in smartphones. Up today, the Motorola Droid Ultra, one of the 3 new Droid devices from the carrier. Can it compete with the Galaxy S4, the HTC One, and the LG G2, and all of these other devices that are hitting right around the same time? We'll find out in part 1 of the full video review. The Motorola Droid Ultra is one of 3 new Droid devices that are available as of today at Verizon Wireless. The Droid Ultra slots right into the middle, the Droid Mini on this side, the Droid Max on this side. As you would expect, Mini's $99.99, this one's $199.99. The Droid Max is $299.99, but functionally very similar in a lot of different ways. The Droid Ultra here packs a 1.7 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU with Motorola's X8 architecture. It's got a 5-inch 720p HD display here. You've got an AMOLED display on this device, a 10 megapixel camera on the back with 1080p HD recording, Droid logo, Verizon logo on the back, 4G LTE capabilities, as you can see up top, and then the usual Droid look and feel to this device. It's packing Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean with a relatively stock build at that. No real Motorola customizations to this device with the exception of some software stuff, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. But the question a lot of people have, particularly those that are excited about the Moto X, how does this thing compare to the Moto X, and why in the world is Verizon releasing 3 new Droid devices when they're also getting the Moto X? We'll try to figure all of that out in the full video review. I'm going to step back for just a second and thank our boys in blue at Best Buy Mobile for giving us devices like the Droid Ultra for use in our One-Pawed Bandit free giveaway game at PhoneDog.com. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll make sure your email, contacts, your phone settings, your camera, and more are good to go. So when you walk out the door, you're working. You don't have to waste your time setting anything up. Thanks to Best Buy Mobile, you can get right in to the good stuff. at Best Buy Mobile. So specs wise, like I said, 2 gigabytes of RAM here, 16 gigabytes of internal storage, pretty cool micro SD, or excuse me, no micro SD card slot, pretty cool micro nano SIM card slot rather behind the volume rocker. I'm not going to pull it out because it'll deactivate the 4G LTE network, but all you have to do is come under the Verizon logo area here, and under the volume rocker, slide this out. The volume rocker detaches and the nano SIM card slot is right there. But from a hardware standpoint, very similar to other Droid devices we've seen in the past. Most recently, the Droid Razor line of devices. You've got your power button over here, you've got your volume rocker over on this side as well. Down at the bottom, micro USB charging port. Over on this side, nothing. 3.5mm headphone jack up top, and it's a very glossy device as well. The Droid Ultra has a little bit of a smaller battery all around. It's packing a 2,130 milliamp hour non-removable battery here, smaller than the Droid Max as you would expect, but again, the price point makes up for that. You've got a little bit of a hump here around the camera, 10 megapixel camera, like I said, with 1080p HD video recording. It's a very glossy device. So just from a hardware standpoint, an exterior standpoint, you can see how glossy this device is with my fingerprints all over it. What I will say though is out of all the devices I've been working with recently, the Moto X, Galaxy S4, HTC One, Optimus G Pro, Droid Ultra, all these different devices have come out. This is one of my favorite devices to hold in the hand. Now, glossiness aside, it just fits perfectly. I've always, or at least in the past couple of months, been a believer that 5 inches is a perfect sweet spot for a lot of people because it's not too big. It's not 5.5 or 6 or 6.44 inches like the Xperia Z Ultra. You can still get reasonable travel with this, but it's not a 4-inch display like the iPhone 5, so you still get a decent sized display for content consumption. So you watch those YouTube videos, you browse the web on a regular basis, perhaps you text message, you got a nice big screen to do that stuff, but then you don't have to worry about a 6.44-inch display device that's not going to fit in your pocket. That's what I like a lot. It's kind of a frustration for me as I work through the Moto X 30-day challenge because the display, for me at least, is just a smidgen on the small side. Over here you've got 5 inches, so much like the Galaxy S4, a near perfect display size I think for a lot of people. It fits really well in the hand, and you've got physical buttons down here, physical capacitive buttons that is, as opposed to on-screen buttons like the Moto X. So back here, home, recent applications, and actually in the settings you can configure this to be your menu button as well, as you see right there, just by pressing and holding recent apps. Now, like I said, a pretty stock build of Android 4.2.2 here. Google Now integration right there, and this has a lot of cool features out of the box that Motorola has added, so even though it looks like a stock build of Android, it's a little bit different. But design-wise, I really like this device a lot. Just looking at it from the exterior, the glossiness, kind of frustrating, but the overall feel in hand, it's one of the best devices I've felt personally all year long, just from a fit in the hand and overall usability when making a phone call. Another thing I like about it is Motorola's active notifications. As you can see right here, when you move the device, you see this right here, I can unlock it right here, and it only activates the pixels I need. So instead of turning the device on each time to see if I have notifications and looking up at the notification area, I can keep it off, I can shift it around, and when I get an email come in, for example, it'll light up, and I can access that email by swiping up in the case of the email, or down in the case to unlock it, bypassing the lock screen or the traditional lock screen. Really a cool application there, but some other highlights. You've got the Verizon and Motorola pre-installed stuff here. Verizon, Amazon Kindle, Amazon MP3, App Store, but this is one of my favorites, Motorola's Assist application. You can see 3 things here that we do on a pretty regular basis. If you're a grown person, driving, meeting, and sleeping. 3 of the most important things between work and between personal as far as I'm concerned. Driving is great. You know, I'm a big believer of it can wait. It really can wait, and I love to activate this when I'm on the road. And what it does is it works with the accelerometer to tell me when I'm driving, or to tell the phone rather when I'm driving, and I can have it talk to me, so read text messages and tell me who's calling, and resume the music play as well. So I can go in here and select more, quick reply, I can say I'm driving and we'll get back with you soon, or I can opt not to reply and just reply to them when I get to my destination. But it works with the accelerometer and will kick you into that mode once it realizes that you're driving. Now, meetings down here as well, particularly useful when I update my calendar, which admittedly is not my strong suit, but when I do update it, I can come in here and say, hey, you know what? Keep my phone quiet while I'm busy, and I can activate that and customize it and say, you know what, silence it when, you know, for example, I have a meeting from 3 to 4 o'clock, except for when a favorite calls, maybe a family member, maybe my fiance, maybe somebody that's important in the organization, perhaps my boss. When someone calls twice within 5 minutes, also they can reach me. So you got some options here, and sleeping is a great one as well. Much like Do Not Disturb on the iPhone, I can set custom times and come down here and say, hey, keep my phone quiet while I sleep unless those same parameters of favorite calls or someone calls twice. So a lot of different options here. Really like Motorola's Assist application, and you see a lot of Motorola touches throughout the device itself. You can see Android 4.2 running here, and it's a pretty regular build. I can I can swipe down with 2 fingers and access those quick notifications, or I can swipe down with 1 finger and get my usual notifications bar and just flip it over that way. So settings here, everything you would expect, but you can see here active notifications, and I can turn this on and really customize this. So active display was turned on, as you saw just a second ago, where I'd get my emails or my text messages, and it would only activate the pixels needed to run that. I can manage the notification types as well. So I can say, you know what, Audible, don't need that in there. Calendar, yeah, I want that, that's important. Email, that's important. Gmail for my personal account, that's important. Let's say Google Plus, not really that important. Hangouts, sort of important. Maps, yeah, that's important. Messaging, etc. rather. So when I turn it off and back on, and I get those notification types, it'll only light up if I get these types of notifications. So for example, a notification from Chrome won't light up that active notifications area. So you can customize that and make it your own. Touchless control, particularly useful here as well, and this is something we saw kind of highlighted on the Moto X, also on the Droid Ultra. So I can go through here and say next, 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 and you can really see the Google integration here. These are the first devices to come out with the Google support behind Motorola after they purchased the company, and you can really see Google's hand in this with the italicized text like next, and these little words like no, maybe, later, and yes, I'm in. Very Android-y, very stock Android-y. So I can record, okay Google now. It's way too loud. Let's try it. Shh. Okay Google now. Okay Google now. Okay Google now. Okay Google now. And then I can say something like okay Google now, and it'll activate just like that. So again, we see that feature on the Moto X. It's not really, they're highlighting it as a feature kind of centric to the Moto X, but you can do it on the Motorola Droid Ultra here as well. So that's there. Droid Zap as well, highlighted in the menu. We can go in here and share instantly. So much like S-Beam or a TiV Beam or Tap and Send on Windows Phone 8, I can come through here and select things to share. Droid Zap is turned on. All I have to do is swipe up, and I can show you exactly how it works by hitting right here. So I'm swiping up with 2 fingers, and it'll share it. Swipe down with 2 fingers on the new device, and then I can share instantly. So yes, I'm in. We'll add the Heron Baker account. And again, you have a Droid device, swipe down, and you can access that. So obviously it works off NFC, very easy to use. And it's looking around right now. I don't have any Droid devices around here, so I'm gonna go ahead and back out of that. But you can see here, again, some nice options, and just because it's running stock Android doesn't mean that it doesn't have some software goodies in the box that are kind of hidden. So again, you know, stock Android, I've long been a fan of TouchWiz or Sense 5 because of the value adds that it brings to the table. There are definitely some great value adds in here, even though it's kind of masked by that look and feel of stock Android, including some Moto Care tips as well. I can come in here and change these, see all my settings. It'll give me tips for charging, battery, and how to protect the phone, and more. So I kind of find that useful. But again, otherwise, pretty stock build of Android 4.2.2 here. Pick up in part 2, we'll talk more about Android 4.2. We'll do some speed tests, some camera tests, and we'll wrap out with the comparison of this device to the Moto X. So stay tuned right here on PhoneDog.com for part 2.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos de YouTube? Bueno, esto es solo un mensaje de apoyo a todos aquellos chicos Nini significa no trabajar ni estudiar. En el país existen miles de millones. Y bueno, esto es solamente un video de apoyo para decirles que yo sé que pueden algunos días pensar en si, quiero trabajar, quiero hacer algo más o conseguirme una vida social. Pero es como estar con barreras invisibles, pero es muy raro porque igual como uno dice, yo tengo suficiente con mi mundo virtual o no sé, con toda tecnología digital, en HDTV, televisión por internet, videos en YouTube, televisión peer-to-peer, videos 3GP, todo esto, televisión vía satélite. Entonces como que uno dice, ya tengo todo lo que necesito aquí, justamente, ¿no? Además, también quiero decirles que no están solos y que, bueno, si tienen acceso a la internet, bueno, lógicamente ahora tienen acceso a internet porque están viendo este video y algunos días pueden pensar, ay cielos, caray, esto es una mierda, mi vida es una mierda, la vida es una mierda, por X razón, digamos, ay, qué familia me tocó, mi papá es mi mamá, mi tal, 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 pero si miran a su alrededor, si miran a los vecinos, a toda su ciudad o a todo bla bla bla, van a ver que todo es igual y que ustedes no son los únicos así. También quería decirles, amigos de YouTube, que nunca había hecho esto. Amigos de YouTube, no sé por qué nunca había hecho esto, de decir, de hacer videos más así al estilo videoblog, vlog, livecasting también es otra. Estar transmitiendo las 24 horas tu cuarto o las cámaras de seguridad de tu casa. Es el futuro. Tú tal vez ni siquiera tengas las cámaras o el ancho de banda o las cuestiones técnicas que son mínimas y no costosas, pero bueno. ¿Qué más les iba a decir? ¿Qué más? Android 2500, estás viendo este video, gracias. Luis Fernando López Ortuño, de Tultitlán. Un lugar para vivir, un lugar para divertirse, muy cercano a la Ciudad de México, muy cercano a todo. Tiene línea de metro. Él además es metro aficionado. Le gusta todas estas cuestiones de las señales de televisión y todo esto. Eso es cool. Y todo eso. Y bueno, ¿qué más les iba a decir? Sí, él es por mucho el único que ha localizado mi contenido en internet, mi data, mi videodata en internet, en YouTube. Y eso es muy especial, porque es realmente videos geniales que alguien muy interesado en las cosas interesantes y cool lo localizaría. Y bueno, creo que eso era todo. Igual seguiré haciendo videos de otras cosas que nos pasan, que nos pasa a todos. visto esos videos en las redes peer-to-peer, en las redes P2P, por ejemplo, con el programa Chareasa 2, versión 2.2.5.0? Esos videos en donde aparecen GD stuff, you know, boilovers, KDB, PJK, todo eso, Boy Más Man. Y todas esas cuestiones, Nambla. Y bueno, si ustedes son fans de South Park, saben lo que es Nambla, lo sabrán. Y bueno, Coca-Cola. Bueno, ¿qué más les quería comentar? Es que tengo tantos temas que ni siquiera sé de qué hablar. Ni siquiera estoy seguro si voy a poder subir esto, porque es en HD y tendré que convertirlo a MPG y está en resolución alta, y convertirlo a 320 por 240 en MPG en formato MP3, en formato más ligero, que arrancaría por lo menos una computadora de 1997 con un procesador AMD K7 de 300 MHz. Bueno, estas cuestiones volverían loco a cualquiera, ¿no? Pues en el mundo digital, todo el mundo usa estos medios, Ustream, Justin TV, todos estos medios de live streaming y todas estas cuestiones que ya hasta te venden en la tienda de la esquina. No necesitas ser un genio o alguien súper dotado para saber de estos medios, porque incluso en la televisión o en medios comunes promocionan ya estos medios. Qué fácil se ha vuelto, por ejemplo, si eres gay y estás por siempre en el closet y te gustan chavitos, así, güeritos, así, no sé, ya sabes. Qué fácil se ha vuelto con la tecnología. Pues simple y sencillamente descargas la data, descargas el video, lo usas, lo almacenas, haces respaldo en 7 lugares diferentes. Y sí, en internet, en discos DVD, en cualquiera que sea el caso. Además, quería comentarles acerca de sí, PDS de este chico de Tokio, PDS Kaushigaisha. Los que son conocedores ya sabrán quién es. PDR Kaushigaisha. R&W Daken también. Sí, también quería comentarles acerca de que bueno, yo soy este usuario. Sé que nadie va a ver esto, por tal vez 1, 2, 3 personas. Y eso es bueno. 1 o 2, 3 personas, que son ganancia. No quiero que me vean en todo el planeta. Además, ¿para qué? Además, ¿sacaría dinero de Google AdSense? Nah. ¿O fama? Nah. ¿Para qué? Ya tengo sexo virtual. Trabajo, no lo necesito. Solo para la Chokis, la Coca-Cola y pizzas instantáneas, submarinos de vainilla y litros de leche helada para los submarinos de vainilla también. Esto es super X, pero es información útil de lo que pasa hoy en día. De nosotros, los nini. Sí. Y bueno, ya les hablé de... también quiero decirles acerca de cuánta tecnología es lo mínimo que pueden tener. Bueno, lo mínimo es una laptop, un smartphone o un celular cualquiera. Puede ser uno de estos celulares Huawei o HUAWAI, celulares asiáticos. Puede ser sin Android, para que tomen simplemente el video feed, la señal de video, de todo lo que quieran. Y bueno, finalmente un televisor. No, es smartphone, tablet y celular. Celular, laptop y tablet. Esos son los tres: celular, laptop y tablet. Aunque bueno, pueden dejar la tablet para el último, si es que no están mucho fuera de casa. Pero eso sí, la laptop es esencial. Y un celular no muy costoso para el video. Renraku saki yoshiete kuremasen ka? Soukai desu yo. Natori ga arigatou gozaimashita. Korekara mo nitsu oどうと言いますか、未紹介メガヘルツと言います。DOKM DTB です。横浜です。Pueden escuchar el sonido de esta deliciosura que se llama Coca-Cola. Todos en el planeta la conocen, todos en el planeta la consumen. Y bueno, seguiré hablando de cosas chidas, cosas chingonas, y todo esto. Además, ¿de qué más podría hablarles? La comida, por ejemplo. Las 5 cosas básicas, según yo, que necesitan diariamente en sus vidas. Ya les hablé de la tecnología. No necesariamente necesitan tener internet de 24/7 todos los días del año. Pueden tener internet, por ejemplo, toda la madrugada y duermen de día, que es la moda, según yo. Y sería lo cool. Descargan sus archivos MP3 de música Deep House, los disfrutan sin una conexión a internet y voilà, ahí los tienen para siempre, sin necesidad de una conexión a internet, porque sabemos que solo algo como el 14% de los mexicanos tienen conexión a internet. Y si tienen internet falla, se corta la línea. Tal vez no si tienen cable o satélite, bla bla bla. En cuanto a la comida, ya dije que son Coca-Cola, galletas Chokis, pizzas instantáneas y un extra que serían tal vez submarinos de vainilla y leche. En cuanto a dinero, pueden tener cada 3 años, cada un año, 500 pesos, 200 pesos de reparar una computadora. Y lo disfrutan en lo anterior que dije de la comida. ¿Sí? Y en cuanto a los boys, pueden usar todos estos videos restringidos que se encuentran en estas redes internas, en estas redes hidden, pero que siguen existiendo, no porque no sean conocidas o no se quieran dar a conocer en los medios de comunicación, no significa que no existan y jamás van a desaparecer, porque están hechas por usuarios comunes de todo el planeta, usuarios más que nada alemanes, brasileños, Sao Paulo, Santos, Copacabana, Manaus, Río de Janeiro y Alemania, lo que sería Berlín. Hay un tipo que se llama Paul en Berlín, tiene toneladas de estos videos. Usuario recurrente en Chareasa 2250. Y ¿qué más les iba a decir? Sí. En cuanto a lugares, places you can have, pueden tener el parque local de vez en cuando, cada 6 meses, cada 7 meses, no importa. Siempre y cuando vayan con los que viven en su casa, por aquello de que, ya saben, nosotros nos sentimos más cómodos si vamos con alguien, salimos con alguien, con mamá, hermanos, todo esto. Y en cuanto a otros lugares, pueden disfrutar del centro comercial Aurrera, Soriana, y los demás que existen como Walmart, Sam's, bla bla bla. Hey, friends from YouTube, it's great you are here right now watching my video. Today I'm going to talk to you about this kind of hidden boys who are the entire time, the entire day on their rooms without any light like this, and you are on your laptop devices enjoying all kinds of video data or any kind of great stuff like, well, you can have videos from YouTube, videos from the peer-to-peer networks. You also can enjoy deep house music with your headphones, like these ones, with a branded Sony Electronics Corporation. Over here you can see the logo of these ones. It's very great. And I'm going to talk about the basic touch you gotta have. You gotta have a laptop. Is the primary device you can have. You gotta have without any kind of internet connection. But you know, today, if the neighbor have internet access, you can get in and you can have the free data line, the service for free forever. You can have your videos and favorite music stored on your device and enjoy it forever. Also kiddie stuff, nude, of course, blondies, 12-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And what else I gotta say to you, my pedo friend? No, that's a joke. Pedophile. Like on the IT Crow series, you remember that episode? The dinner party. What else? Oh yeah, the food stuff. You can have solo the basics. That is, beans and soup, homemade. Made it by your mom. And if you are on the US area and not in Mexico like me, well, you will have instant noodles from Maruchan. Yakisoba is a really good one. With Coke and some chocolate like Hershey's cookies and cream and that kind of stuff. That's the basics. And on the frozen pizza stuff, I don't know what kind of brand you have in the US. Red Baron, I don't know. That one from Minneapolis, Memphis, I don't know. Well, I'm going to talk next right now about money. You actually don't have to have a fortune. Hide it in your room or any kind of hidden place. You know, you are really concerned about having money for, I don't know, you don't even want, you don't even need, but you thinking about, I have to have money. That's not true. The truth is, you can be ultra happy just with the free stuff it coming into you without do anything, pretty much. For instance, you can just if somebody come in and offer to you something, and if that thing you can get access to that, well done. But you will be safe and happy at your room, at your house, with any real friends. Just one friend, virtual friends, just that. Or zero virtual friends, with you will be happy. Now, the voice, I said already, how you can get virtually. On the real thing, it will be more kind of hard to get them. Especially if you are ultra shy like me. Being ultra shy, it's not a bad thing. It's just like a shield for protect ourselves on this ultra dangerous world we are living right now. And you know about this stuff. You can talk about this with Osama. Well, Osama is no longer on this planet. You know what he did in New York City on 2001. That is a real action movie from the real life. Well, now I'm talking about already touch, food, money, boys. Now we have 4 topics. We have the 5th one. It is places. You can enjoy the mall, the park, a relative's house. You can go to the downtown city once in a while. What else occurs to me? I have access to my data. It's already full. It's not empty spaces anymore here. Accessing to the data. Jesus, I'm unique. I hope a lot of people going to watch this for real. From Iceland to Australia, Japan. Japan have a lot of great YouTubers. They are super great. United States. Wow. They are really great too. And of course, my own country, Mexico. Absolutely. I love you. This is a great country. Besides any kind of weird stuff we have, this is great. You don't have to feel weird because this is great. Part of America and everything. From Alaska to Australia, yeah. On Christmas Island, I can have also a few YouTubers. That would be great. Now, this is in Tokyo. Tokyo, Sapporo, Niigata, Nara, Ibaraki-ken, Miyagi-ken, Fukushima-ken, all of them. Yes. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my video. This is a YouTuber, the super great YouTuber Héctor Iván Almaraz de Horta. From Zacatecas City to the world. Of course, the local government not going to pay me nothing for this fuck it up publicity. Nobody knows me. Not even my own family. Or my neighbors. I don't have friends, real friends. Except you, of course. But I know there are hundreds of billions of boys like me. With more luck, they have food stuff, good instant stuff, noodles, pizza, Coke, cookies, ice cream. That's all. Because their parents are on the minimal line of coolness, of really basic stuff. I'll give it to you. That it's really cool thing. And they care about their own children, their own sons. Alright? I don't want to cut this video because I have a lot of things to say to you. A lot. Really a lot. Visit my other channels on YouTube. I have great stuff from the past. Most of them get deleted. Well, the media don't belong to me, you know. But it remains a lot of good videos about the real life I have here since ever. I have a couple of VHS tapes. I have converted one of Christmas. You can see it on one of my accounts. I think those accounts don't have any problem at all with the YouTube rules, with the YouTube stuff, infringements, that shit. Well, it's not, you know. Probably they are right. They have all of these servers in Mountain View, California, who analyze your data and say, hey, you have a song is not permitted, or oh, that material you just upload, it's a copyright infringement. And you say, wow, I just wanted to share this cool video with my friend in Tokyo, with my friend in New York City, Sao Paulo, in St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota it is, Denver's Colorado, right? LA, Los Angeles, California, Rancho Cucamonga. That is in San Diego? From Cucamonga, no. I don't even know what I'm saying. But I'm going to keep talking because I really feel I need to say all of this stuff. Right here, you can see me. I never put the camera like this. I'm not even sure if my face can fit at this screen, or it disappear, or I'm focused, because I can't connect it, the video camera, to my TV set, because I have to put it a chair, the cables, um, the connectors are a lot of on the back part, and I can even see it, and I can fit with the cables to connect them, because my other TV set get broke by a power failure. My other TV set, yeah, get disabled, no longer can bring service, and that's why I'm just seeing a little screen from here, from 2 meters, 100 meters, I don't know. But I think today I really did it. This is a great picture also of this. My Coke. I don't have Coke every day, just the days when my mom or my dad buys me one. This can be super little one or a super big one, 2 liters, and this little one. Also, when I'm going to my grandma, when the shame disappear, and I'm just going fucking away to that house with my grandma. All right. What else? I need to say this stuff really faster and quickly, because this is an HD video. It's probably not, because I'm going to convert it to a lower quality for being possible to upload it to the YouTube servers. But now YouTube have a really great function about if you are uploading a super big file like 10 gigabytes, 7 gigabytes, and your internet connection get gone away, you can continue with the same file, with the same upload at the next day, like for 3 days or 5, or unlimited if the connection detects activity, uploading the rest of the packets, the rest of the data of these video files. So that's really cool. Thanks to that, I can upload videos longer than 3 hours or more. That's cool. Every year, the tech of YouTube and the devices and the general tech advance a lot. That's cool. You just can watch it in a special program of tech without not being afford these kind of devices. You can buy it them. You can buy any kind of new devices. They come every day, like the Google glasses. You put it down. Like, I think I have no, wait. I don't even know where my glasses are for doing an example of what is putting. Alright, we're going to believe this is the Google glasses. You put them here, and these things are capable of take video feed. You are walking on the street like this, and these things can record any kind of stuff you see on the street. It's like a live video footage of your entire life. What about that? I think probably it's too much touch, but it's great. I don't care. I don't even buy them. Probably in the future is going to be really cheap on costs and more how do we say, more brands, more factories who buy them from different providers. But so it's great to be on YouTube. It's great to send this data to the entire world, to the entire planet, and more planets beyond. You can see some stuff from Michio Kaku, the Dr. Michio Kaku, about other planets who see our signals. And the SETI group, this group who captures signals from another universes and planets. I don't know, I think cool stuff, very nerdy stuff, but cool stuff. Especially if you get paid for that. Imagine that. Get paid just for capture inexistent signals and signs. For example, for instance, they are the Intelsat crowd, the Intelsat, the Eutelsat, Satmex, who these people have a teleport, a uplink downlink signal headquarters, and they on these central rooms with dishes and everything, they get paid just for monitoring and adjusting the signals on the satellites, and surveillance if the satellite is in the right direction on their orbits. Well, that's, I think, cool stuff, and they pay you for that. You gotta be telecommunications engineering or something for that. I can work on that until Intelsat. If you wanted to hire me, you can request my help. I'm an expert, for real. I'm talking really seriously. Hacking signals and everything. The intercommunications with Tokyo, NTT Docomo, KDDA, SoftBank. Yes, I am. Hey, get focus my camera. Like this? Like this? Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm going to put over there my Google glasses. I'm Googling. I'm not Googling. I'm Googling. I'm not Googling. Right here. You can see all my movements. Right here. Right now. Oh, wow. Wow. Ba da 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 da. I'm going to hear some music right now for get more happy, because I'm probably not happy right now, and I'm going to do it. I can redirect this signal from over there for you to hear, because it's more stuff. I'm very lazy. I'm not going to do advanced stuff because it's just a waste of energy you don't have, because you don't have enough food for it, and create more energy because you don't have a work, you don't have a job. You are super great, super smart for even for upload HD video to YouTube, but not enough probably for keep a job or for even get a job one time. I have a job one time, but my aunt get it for me, and I last like was 4 or 6 months over there. I was doing nothing, I was getting paid, that was great. I did some little advices about computer stuff, and I copy some papers. I walk from one building to another for deliver papers, but that's going to last forever. The company, the boss says to me, they probably watch, hey, this guy probably is not doing nothing and gets paid. And I get fired. Well, but I buy headphones, I buy chocolate cookies and Coke, Pepsi I was buying at that time in 2011. From 2008, from 2011, I was a consumer I was a really great consumer from PepsiCo. Pep on the New York Stock Exchange is the letters of that company, PEP. You can consult these finance advices with Richard Quest from CNN International and CBS Money Watch from New York City, WCBS. This is WCBS News. What's his name? I'm this guy, Terrell Brown. Terebi Tokyo Yarase desu. Terebi Tokyo. I'm talking right now Japanese. Terebi Tokyoに習っています。こうつってごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。これましたおバカたちであと出ますか。2つしてますか。 素晴らしい、すごい合っていますか。ビデオとフィットですか。惜しいです。惜しいコカ・コーラにとっています。メントスコカ・コーラ。See ya! PDS 株式会社。Numa, yeah. Numa, yeah. The surprises never tell me that. Numa, yeah. Numa, yeah. For a second, I think my camera wasn't recording at all. We have full charge of battery and a great free memory. For my luck, for my good luck. I haven't spent it like a lot of money. I also hack some bank accounts and I never say to the customers, and I practically give for free that money and I never claim for that money. If I say to these customers, hey, I transfer some money to your account and belongs to me because I redirected this money from some accounts on Japan, and I used your account for like a slot. I use it like an item for transport this money to your account because I wasn't having my own bank account. So, but I also have really great money income in 2009 from some hacks on bank accounts in New York City. Thanks for that, I can afford it my HD digital video recorder and a lot of goods, as you know, common stuff. This is stuff like desserts, cakes, and the stuff who make happy to the cute boys like me. Rurikon, that's a Japanese word. I'm Rurikon. One hen, STC, STS. かわいいですね。ロリコンあります。どうもありがとうございました。どうもありがとうございました。You remember this dance who are this really famous dance with the Numa when a fat guy appears and begin to dance his own dance he creates from 2007, 2006, something like that, because YouTube creates the system of YouTube was created in January 2005. I was having an account from 2006 would get deleted. So my first account I have currently up on the network is from 2007. 2007, right? So more great stuff coming in. I think you're going to be right here with me. Stay tuned. Keep me in your subscription lists, and don't forget you on this account can have any kind of great stuff about related with the entire universe. I'm so smart like Michio Kaku, but I'm also as pedo as was Michael Jackson, and in the same way I'm kind of stupid, an idiot like Kramer from Seinfeld. Yeah. Wait. I get an example of a boy like me, like Bud Bundy from that series, you know, for CBS. Like, right? No, wait. Oh, it's just coming in very ancient series. I gotta say about modern stuff. Modern Family. Yeah. I'm like this boy. What's his name? Jake? Yes. There's other boy named Jake from Touch, the Fox Network series. Yes, I'm as cute as that boy. And I want him. Also, I like SVU. Law and Order SVU. On that episode, when they put it there, appears these super cute boys, and then begins the strange computer guy, or really close friend or a relative approach to the boy, and he take advantage of the boy, and they have their own, and then they going to a hidden place, lock it with the key. Those are great episodes. Or the other episode when a teenage brother get advantage of his little boy bro, and he transmit a show via internet. That was a really great one. I almost forgot to write the name of the episodes or the number of the episodes and then download on the internet. Sometimes the analog signals, the analog networks, don't show you what exactly episode is. And you gotta guess by yourself what is the episode. In case you can see some information related with the episode on the credits, seeing the name of the actors and everything, the age of the episode, and voila, you get the the name of the episode. On open television system on Mexico. It's on Canal 5 Televisa, México. Es llamado La Ley y el Orden, Unidad de Víctimas Especiales. En esos episodios donde salen los niños y salen parientes y el tipo de la computadora que se lleva al niño y bla bla bla. Buenos episodios, ¿no? Hablando de eso, what I did in English and Spanish. In English, that's great. That's better because I get more audience, more people on the planet who can understand me. Absolutely. Well, yes, I'm going to talk about the TDT, digital television. The HDTV, it's coming to our country, Mexico, and on Tijuana, the analog signals no longer exist. They put it down, and then they reactivate the transmitters because the authorities, the federal authorities of elections, requested put it back just for a short period of time. Meanwhile, the election time passed. The election time passed, and people can receive the proper publicity of the entire election stuff. Now the entire country will be down on the analog signals. 2015. I'm not really sure, but it's going to be difficult get devices, digital devices in every house in the country. Difficult. I have say like 1,000 words. Like I have to say like 1,000 topics about anything, everything in the universe, and yes. You wondering what is this guy? I'm that kind of guy who nobody knows, who are in a basement, who are almost dying, but I'm not dying, I feel great, I feel okay, I think, and are just waiting for some food from his close persons who are living also on the house. And then you can imagine if these people don't have a job, don't have any money. You can imagine the panorama here. The scenario of this will be super weird. We can compare this probably on the US scenarios when the parents are drug addicts and they spended all the money on drugs and left their children without any food items, or they spended the money on gambling or internet shopping or whatever weird stuff we have today on the modern age. But well, everybody say you have the power for change everything. I don't have even idea of what to do, how to begin, if I can keep the things on that flow or normal stability, normal state. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. So I don't need anything else. Oh my god. Oh shit. I'm just wasting a lot of time with this HD video. I'm going to take forever to get up to the YouTube servers. And then I hope the account will be in normal state. And that way the data don't will be a reset at all. Oh. Anyways, I think I'm going to cut this right now. This is the very first time I do a video like this, talking directly to you, my YouTuber friends from the entire planet, and it feels cool. It feels great. I hope bring to you more video footage of my real life. In some places you can have the camera in hand and record all the voice stuff items, because the people get awkward. You gotta have your mobile device, your cell phone, recording with your hand in your pocket, like simulating waiting for a call in your pants, but with the camera pointing to a free space for record everything, as using it like a spy camera, or not visible camera, or more, how we can call it, more dissimulated camera, for not get awkward the people on the mall or in public places, or even the manager of the mall going to get banned the camera and pick it up when you going out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm Héctor Iván Almaraz de Horta from Zacatecas City, which is on Mexico, Republican. Is just down from the United States and up from Guatemala, Belize, Central America, Latin America. Yes, we are. I'm already say goodbye, but I'm keep talking. Last thing, I think faster. The people from around here are kind of poor are not as super cool as the New York City people. Are poor and uncool. Just probably the 30%, 40% of them are super cool, like the New York City ones. Alright. We are putting off this signal off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.